Hello, everyone. Welcome to MASTERSOCK THEATRE. Am I on screen? Yes. Apparently, yes. Hello. I am Nigel Thornthread. Yes, that is my name, Nigel Thornthread. Welcome to MASTERSOCK THEATRE. The latest magic story has been released today. That means we will do things a little bit differently on this stream. I will be reading the story for your pleasure, but also I have special guests that will be appearing for this story. If you are enjoying this, please remember to follow the stream and subscribe if you believe that your money is worth giving. But for now, we shall start the story. As Nissa braced... Oh, sorry. Episode 5. The Two Guardians. As Nissa braced to fight the people she once considered allies, she wondered if she had made a grave mistake ever leaving Zendikar. Jace and Nahiri stood before her, breathing hard from their race through the singing city. Behind her were the elementals of the Kazandu forest. Just imagine them. Can't really change the background right now, but we just imagine them. Dozens and dozens strong elementals. If Nissa had never become a planeswalker, her chest wouldn't be constricting right now with the pain and guilt of mistakes and past friendships. Oh, Nissa? Where are you, Nissa? Ah, yes. Here is Nissa. You're having pain. Pain. So much pain! Too much pain! That's too much pain. Yes, well, I just want to save Zendikar! Well, if Nissa had never become a planeswalker, her chest wouldn't be constricting right now with the pain and guilt of past mistakes and lost friendships. She wouldn't be mourning Gideon's death or the loss of Chandra's love. And now we come across Nahiri and Jace as they race away from Nissa and her elementals. How are you traveling so fast? Nahiri said. She was cut and bruised, and the rage on her face was unadulterated and brutally clear. On her hip was the satchel with the lithoform core. It pulsed mutely through the fabric. Nissa clenched her fists, off-screen. On the other hand, If she had never left Zendikar, if she had never tried and failed and tried again, she wouldn't be standing here in front of the Singing City, defending her home when no one else would. Zendikar is where I belong. It's the heart of my power and strength, Nissa said. I know all the paths and know how to use them, but you two... She thought of the Fern Elemental Nahiri carelessly murdered in Akum's Skyclave, and she felt the army of Kazandu's elementals behind her swell with anger. You will never understand! Leave my home! Jace tried to reason with her, but Nissa ignored him. It was Nahiri she focused on as the Lithomancer yelled, This is my home! Tree Dweller! The elemental army instinctively tensed and grew closer to Nissa, ready to defend her with their lives. For a moment, Nissa was overwhelmed with gratitude toward these embodiments of Zendikar, who found her in exile. I am overwhelmed with gratitude. I can't believe all these elementals love me so much. I love you too, elementals. You are all amazing, and I want to be part of your all's lives for the rest of my life. That just makes me feel much more happy to be part of elementals. That's who I am. That's who I always will be. Part of elementals. These elementals had found Nissa in exile, who had taken her in when she was alone. Jace went still. He raised a magical ward. Magical ward has been activated. I am Jace. Of course, you know I'm Jace. It literally says it on my forehead. I am Jace. So, what do you think now, Do you think my wards will keep everything fine? Of course it will. I'm Jace. I know these things. I'm good at what I do. Especially after Ixalan. Elementals, these fragments of Zendikar's heart and soul, who stood by her, despite her mistakes and the damage she accidentally caused. Nahiri lifted her hands, and the stones of the Singing City began to tremble. Elementals, who taught her what being part of a family meant, what a family was supposed to be, who came to her aid now without her asking, hers, and not Nahiri's. What would Gideon do? Nissa thought. He would tell you it's time to make choices for yourself. Yes, I said that to myself because I need to reassure myself I'm doing the right thing. Defend Zendikar, she said to the elementals in a voice lower than a whisper. Defend Zendikar. Sorry about that, I yelled it out. I yelled out the quiet part. But they heard. And they understood. And like a wave crashing on a shore, they did. Nihiri always believed in the power of stone. Yes, that's right, I always believe in the power of stone. Nihiri, please take your space on the actual platform. Please show up. There's Nihiri. Yes. I believe in the power of stone. I really do. It has helped me like no other. She always believed in the power of stone, the strength of it, that stone would outlast everything in the end. But for the first time in centuries, as dozens and dozens of elementals swarmed around her, she began to doubt the power of her lithomancy. Like Nissa, the elementals moved with impossible speed. Nihiri raised a column of stone a split second before a massive elemental like a stomper crashed into her. It roared and with a swipe of its leafy paw, smashed the pillar away. It snarled at her and Nihiri screamed back. Mah! She swept out her arms, called on the stones, just as the leaf thing pounced. It was knocked away by a granite fist shooting up from the ground. Nihiri smiled. But her smile slipped away when she saw Nissa. The elf was standing midair in a mass of vines, arms outstretched, ribbons of green energy swirling around her and behind her. Behind her was like an elemental like none other. It was massive, shaped like an eagle with the body made of jaddy roots, twisting and swirling. It spotted Nihiri and, quick as fury, surged toward her, beak wide and talons extended. Nihiri called the stones to defend her, but the creature's talons sunk into her shoulders. Ah! Nihiri cried out in both surprise and pain. It flapped its wings once, twice, and began to lift her away. Like hell, Nihiri thought, and snapped her wrist forward. Within moments, 30 glowing swords. Appeared all around her. Imagine these are swords. These are totally swords. Within moments, they sunk into the jaddy eagle. Heh heh heh. I am really good with my swords, says Nihiri. It screamed and dropped her. Nihiri rolled out of the way and onto her feet. Ha-ha! Only to come face to face with a giant elemental made of water. Oof. Complete with algae and fish swimming in it. Ew, I am not touching that. You can't be serious, Nihiri hissed and jumped out of the way as it aimed a watery kick at her head. On and on it went. Nihiri caught snatches of Jace, swearing and casting illusions of fires and Eldrazi broods, the elementals instinctively recoiling from the mirage. She was impressed. He was using Zendikar spheres both as a weapon and a shield. His tricks bought him enough time to dodge the barrage of beaks and maws, talons and thorns. But Nihiri knew they were barely managing to hold back the relentless assault. This is not very good. I don't like this. How is the tree dweller managing to do all of this, she thought. And for one terrible moment, Nahiri wondered if Nissa was right. If elementals were embodiments of the plane itself, then Zendikar had given the elf an army to fight with, while Nahiri fought with nothing. No, not nothing! Strength! And determination! She had mastered stone. She had survived for millennia. She was the guardian of the real, ancient Zendikar, yes. She was the protector of the bedrock and foundation of this world. And she would stop this madness. I will stop this madness. With one fluid movement, Nahiri shoved an elemental made of rain and autumn-colored leaves away with a stone hand. She squared her shoulders, widened her stance, and lined up her shot. Nahiri brought her hands together with a clap and sent 50 glowing swords flying right at the elf. Ha ha! Nissa's eyes widened in surprise, but before the blades could strike, the giant Jadi root eagle appeared again. Ooh! From where Nahiri couldn't tell, and brushed all 50 weapons away with a sweep of its wing. Damn it, Nahiri thought, calling the stones again. She tried to throw boulders at Nissa to make the ground around the elf trap her, to send more swords. But Nahiri's elementals defended her fiercely, as if they were more than just mindless tools. I'm so tired. So tired of these elementals defending her. It's so difficult to win. She tried to throw boulders at Nissa, to make the ground around the elf trapper, to send more swords. But Nissa's elementals just defended her as fiercely, as if they were more than just mindless tools. I totally just read that part, but I will read it again. As if they knew they were fighting for their lives. How can anyone live a good life if your world is broken and failing? Nahiri thought with a scowl. She attacked again, and again. When a giant griffin made out of the broken hedrons and the moss of the singing city swallowed a dozen stone spears and seemingly grinned at her, Nahiri realized she had to try a different tactic. She ran. Dodging and blocking and weaving, Nahiri sprinted around the lunging paws, gnashing teeth, and striking thorns of the elementals. She didn't stop until she reached the massive marble gates of the singing city and pushed through them. She had to protect the core. The stones in this ancient city would help her do just that. And that, my friends, watchers, is the first act. We will take an intermission and be back in just a moment for refreshments and personal liberties. Enjoy your personal liberties!